What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Polo Evolve. I'm back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about sacrifice and why making sacrifices is necessary if you want to become great in general and in any industry or field that you're trying to excel in. If you want to be great at something, you need to make sacrifices. The best example I can give for this is Kobe Bryant. Now, I'm not too much of a big ball fan. I have tuned into the NBA. There was a period of time where I was really watching the NBA a lot. I got into sports betting too, probably like 10 years ago. But that's besides the point. The example of Kobe Bryant that I want to bring up was the fact that he would be practicing before the practice, if that makes sense. So like he'll wake up at 3 a.m., get a practice in, and then there'll be an actual practice at 7 a.m., but he's already practiced already. So then when 7 a.m. comes, he'll go for practice again. And that's just, a testament to the sacrifices that he did make. Of course, he lived like a crazy, he had like a crazy schedule in terms of practice and just, staying away from all the bullshit that you see other players, for example, like James Harden. James Harden could have been like a really good player, but I feel like because he didn't want to make the sacrifice of actually putting in that continuous work and always being a student of the game and trying to master his crafts, he ended up, I guess like fizzling out and the hype. Like he's still a good player. Don't get it twisted. He's still probably like, I don't know, top 30, maybe top 40 players. Who knows? I don't really tune in too much, but hope you guys get the point. That's just an example I wanted to make. Now, when I go into my personal life, if you guys have watched my previous videos, you guys know that my mom is bedridden and has been for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years. Let's say 4 years. And what had happened was that she basically got a rare autoimmune disease and got paralyzed from the neck down. It's a very long story, but essentially I became a full-time caregiver for her ever since this happened. And after this happened, I had to make a choice. I could have basically, like, we could have put her in like a home or something, like a nursing home or something like that, and just kind of forgot about her and just like went on with our lives. But you know, I'm a big believer that you should never bite the hand that feeds you. So it's very important. Like I had an excellent relationship with my parents growing up. Now, are they perfect? Probably not. Of course, nobody's perfect, right? However, with that being said, I really stand on taking care of your people. This is like one of the things that is a core value to me. And so I made that sacrifice. I made that sacrifice and I buckled down while everyone around me, so around 25, I'm 29 years old right now. This happened 4 years ago, so I was about 25 years old. Everyone around me was in long-term relationships. They're just starting their career. They're planning out how their life would be in the next 5 to 10 years. And I essentially just figured, you know what? This is a hill that I'm willing to die on. And if I'm willing to die on this hill, nothing else really can come close to that. No amount of monetary success or career success or relationship, it doesn't really matter because to me, this is far more important. And so I was willing to sacrifice. All my friends are going on trips and like I guess just hanging out, doing whatever 20-year-olds really do, right? Like you guys know what the average 20-year-olds is doing. They are just working a job, probably in relationships, and just following that cookie cutter path, the societal path, which is go to school, get a job, find a partner, and get married, and then just get a house, mortgage, stay in debt, and just pay it off for the rest of your lifetime. Now, I made that sacrifice, and I was like, I'm not gonna go out. I'm gonna take care of my mom. I'm not gonna go on these trips, even though I really want to. It'll be really fun, but I realized that this was far more important to me. And so this is just an example that I want to use. Now, I'm also a day trader. I don't know if you guys watch my other videos. Maybe you guys are just tuning into this video. This is not really about day trading, but I will use that example. I've been day trading for about 6 years, and I've been losing, and just very recently, I've started to see a little bit more success. I did get some payouts recently. Recently, I got a 5K payout from Top Step, and it's all good. It's all fine and dandy, but I had to go through some dark times in order to get to this level, and a lot of time I had to spend alone and try to figure out what my next move is, right? Because if you guys are traders yourselves, you guys know you have to go through the ringer, essentially, to kind of fully grasp what trading is and how you can actually succeed at it. I know there are a certain amount of individuals that will be able to get it right away. Maybe they have a mentor, and that's the reason why their learning curve is so short. But nonetheless, to each their own. Everyone will figure it out at their own pace. But what I've realized is, with the fact that I had to take care of my mom, there was a point where I did have a tech sales job, and I got laid off from that job. And I figured, you know what, I have to take care of my mom, so I'm going to focus on day trading and taking care of my mom. This was not the ideal situation. Obviously, I didn't want to get laid off from that tech job because I was making money, and it was a sales job, so I was making commission as well as a salary, so it was pretty cozy. But due to the global mass layoffs back in 2023, 4, somewhere there, yeah, 2024, we were affected. 90% of the team got laid off. And from there, I went all in into day trading, and it didn't work out the way I wanted to. And I ended up running through a lot of my money. And what I had to do was I had a decision, right? Like I still wanted to take care of my mom, but at this point I had to get a job. And I was so used to my schedule being free and, just doing whatever I need to do for my mom. And this entails a whole bunch of things. Like I need to literally do everything for her. I'm not gonna lie. Like she'll eat, but like she'll have. I'm not even get into it, but yeah, I gotta do a lot for her. So that in and of itself is a full-time job. So in my head, I'm thinking I don't want to be a wage slave and get a job. But push come to shove, I had to get a job, and I, by the grace of God, got a pretty solid job where I'm able to work from home, and it's 4 to 12. I do like tech support. I work for an online casino, so I do like a chatbot job. And this 4 to 12 shift, and the reason I bring this up is because this 4 to 12 shift in and of itself is also a sacrifice, because now I'm not chilling at all. And I purposely chose my days to be my days off to be Thursday and Friday. So then on Saturday and Sunday, while everyone else is chilling, I cannot chill, and I'm working 4 to 12. So it's not the best shift, but it is something that I chose to do in order for me to truly lock in. Right now, I have no social life. I barely talk to anybody. I go to the gym, and like the conversations I have there are probably the only conversations that I have with people. It's very rare that I'll go out. And there are certain events which I'll go out to. Like for example, a lot of people are getting married around my age right now, so a lot of my friends are getting married. That's probably something I'll go out to. But nonetheless, other than that, like I'm not going out like everyone else is. Not even dating, not doing that either, because quite literally, I have these goals and I want to reach these goals while still maintaining my core values, which are to take care of my mother as well, right? So, yeah, it kind of sounds hectic, and it is. It definitely is challenging in and of itself. But I say all of this to say, guys, like I have this, I guess, like this deep down, this feeling that no matter how much pain and sacrifice I have to go through, I'm gonna come out the other side. And every time I get discouraged or I start to doubt myself, even in the slightest bit, I don't know what it is, but there's like this spark that just ignites back up in me, and I cannot quit. I don't know if you guys are watching this video, maybe you guys feel the same way, maybe you don't, I don't know, but there is something in me that just does not allow me to quit. And this is why I want to talk about this, because I want to get it out to the people that maybe you're going through something similar, right? It might not be that like maybe your parents are sick. That's a normal thing. Maybe you don't have parents. I don't know, but maybe you have your own problems. Everyone does, and essentially, the message I really want to get across here is that in order for you to be great, you must make sacrifices, and those who are willing to make those sacrifices are the ones that come out on top. And so, whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life, just understand these goals are personal, and no one else is going to understand your hustle, your grind, your vision. And don't expect them to. Why would they? You don't even understand their vision. So why would they understand yours? And it's very important that you guys keep that at the forefront, because you never want to live your life for someone else. People might laugh at you for making these sacrifices, but understand that's the only way you're going to become great. I remember I used to have this job. I had this summer job one time when I was like 21 years old. I worked this summer job, and I would always bring my lunch in a Tupperware, mainly because I wanted to save money. I never thought spending $10 or $20 on lunch while you're making, like, what was the minimum wage at that time? I don't even know, like $14 maybe even less. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna bring some food from home. But I remember people would laugh at me like, oh, this is what you're eating? Like, yeah, this is what I'm eating, bro. Like, this is what I'm eating. Yeah, because guess what? Like, I'm going to the gym. I'm eating clean. I might not be at that point. I wasn't really tracking my food. I wasn't really that dialed in to my diet or my nutrition. At that point, I wasn't really too dialed into my nutrition, but I did have the wherewithal to understand that, hey, listen, eating out all the time is not going to contribute to my goals, my fitness goals. And, you know, people might laugh at you for that, but that's fine, bro. That's the reason why you'll be lean and they won't be, right? Because you're willing to make that sacrifice. You're willing to come to work and have that food that you meal prepped and, you know, you're bringing that Tupperware, that glassware, whatever it is. Meanwhile, they're eating Popeyes for lunch, you know? To each their own. I'm just saying, in order to be great, you need to make some sacrifices. And the more willing you are to make those sacrifices, the more you will separate yourself from the pack. And as you know, at the beginning, it'll feel like shit. You're making all these sacrifices, you're not gonna see progress. Maybe you won't see progress as fast as you would like to see. But because of that, you know, this is where people get discouraged. A lot of people, when they're starting out their journey, first 30 days, they're super locked in. They think that everything's good. You know, they're gonna achieve their dream physique in about 30 days. That's likely not the case, bro. This shit takes years of grinding and refinement, right? You got to take action every single day. And not only do you have to take action, but you also need to refine the actions that you're taking, right? Because one week you might do something and you realize, you know what, I could have done this thing a little bit better. So next week you refine that action, you do that thing a little bit better. And those things are what's going to let the compound effect do its thing. And over time, I'm talking, you know, years of work, years of the grind, you will achieve what most people can only dream of achieving now.